Hey, how's it going? This is James. Just wanted to do a quick video here, just going over some of my concerns and what I believe is coming or is here, but we're just not seeing it manifest yet, which is pretty much the movement against people of God. And people can roll their eyes, they can say whatever they want, but it's coming. We see it. The Bible declares it. And it's funny. I was just telling somebody the other day. I used to wonder how the devil could turn the entire world against Christians, and I'm starting to see it play out in real time. And you're seeing it against with this. I was talking about this a couple days ago, the Kentucky state, and how the troopers were going up and writing down people's license plates, threatening that they were going to do a 14-day quarantine. Somebody, I'm not saying the police did, but I mean, maybe they did. Scattered nails at the entrances to keep people from going in there, and yeah, pretty much telling them they can't peacefully assemble, even though the First Amendment starts out as Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances unless there's a pandemic. Oh, wait, I added that last part. That doesn't exist. There is no unless. It's is what it is. That's declared in there. And so right there, the Kentucky government is overstepping their boundaries and they have no jurisdiction. It's kind of like with a in a town, you've got two towns next to each other. The police can only go to the border of their jurisdiction. They can't go into somewhere else and do what they're not authorized to do. And that's exactly what the police are doing here in Kentucky and other places as well. It's not just there. Um, but I'm stating that right now, right here, that there's an agenda to it, and you can kind of tell with these stories here. Virginia pastor dies from coronavirus after vowing to keep church open despite essential business order. And they go into the story of I mean, which is very sad how he died. I guess is this the one? There was one that went to Mardi Gras, and I don't think that was this guy. This guy just got it, and that he's in Virginia. So I can't find proof, definitive proof, but all of these Democratic governors have been banning hydroxychloroquine, which we're finding is working. So my question is, if this guy was given that, would he have lived? And I guarantee you he would, because the data shows that nobody's dying after taking this drug. So there's that. And we had another one, like I said, he's in went to Mardi Gras and is on his way back because he tested negative. Then he was on his way back, and by the time he got to, I guess, North Carolina, he just had to go to the hospital. Had pneumonia in his lungs by that point, and then tested positive for it and died. And it's ironic because neither one of them really have anything to do with defying orders, except for this guy went to Mardi Gras and it was on his way back and died. But they're making the way they make it sound is it's painting the church in a bad light, that they're not listening to this lockdown order. This guy decried it as hysteria. It's kind of what they did with Trump, when they said that he said that the virus was a hoax. And he said, no, it was the way the media was portraying it was the hoax. And that's what this guy here, this pastor, was saying, that there's a hysteria around it. And I don't care what people say, our rights are our rights. And a pandemic does not, or a death, people dying, doesn't take away our rights. And as soon as we allow them to take away our rights, and we have no rights, and that's where we're at, that's where we're going. And the main reason why I even take this stance, and I said this in the last, or maybe it was the last video or a couple videos ago, if you would have asked me a few months ago, I completely had a different opinion about this. I wanted to be a little bit more safe than I am now because I'm starting to see that this is being hyped up, that there is hysteria around it, that the lies in all the media. And you tell me where you can go that's not talking about COVID-19. I pull up YouTube, it's the banner at the bottom of every video. You pull up the internet, you pull up Yahoo, it's on there right across the top. Every story is coronavirus and death, and you're going to get sick, and you need to give up your rights, and you need to walk this way. You can't go the next to somebody on the sidewalk. This is now one way. This is a one-way aisle. Um, and I ask where it stops, and I ask when people will realize that there's an agenda here. And what the agenda is, I can't say per se, but I'm pretty sure part of it is anti-Christian, and we're starting to see this play out. And to me, it's sketchy. The Bible declares it's going to happen, and like I said earlier, I really did wonder how the whole world would be turned against Christians, and I believe we're seeing it right now. We're seeing that we're selfish, for wanting to meet together and worship Jesus. And the way that they talked about this guy, the last guy here, he is going to stay open. It's an essential bit, despite being the essential business order. And he firmly believes that God is larger than the dreaded virus. Well, guess what? I guess God's not bigger than the dreaded virus, is what they're trying to portray. I argue differently. God is bigger than the virus. God created the virus. God can knock out the virus. God is in control of everything. So it's the narrative. And like I showed in the First Amendment, they don't have the jurisdiction to stop people from getting together. And in that church with the nails, they never said what was going on inside, because they don't know what was going on inside. They don't know that everybody was 6 feet apart. But they're at church and they're worshiping God and they're not killing babies. The abortion clinics are open. They're not going to give up their human sacrifice to their God, the devil. They're just not going to. And I'm starting to get righteously angry at all of this. And I talked about this a little bit. We'll go into this, It says this article is, are COVID-19 deaths being overreported? Well, according to this, in cases where a definitive diagnosis of COVID-19 cannot be made, but is suspected or likely, the circumstances are compelling within a reasonable degree of certainty, it is acceptable to report COVID-19 on a death certificate as probable or presumed, the agency advises. In these instances, certifiers should use their best clinical judgment in determining if a COVID-19 infection was likely. Ideally, testing for COVID-19 should be conducted, but it is acceptable to report it on a death certificate without the confirmation if the circumstances are compelling within a reasonable degree of certainty. Okay, so leave it up to your own best judgment or your own political biases or the narrative you want to portray. CDC tells hospitals to list COVID as cause of death, even if you're just assuming or it only contributed, And I think, was this the one? There was one that really nailed it, the way they described it. And talked about somebody getting hit by a bus that had the flu, or they would say that they had the COVID, that's what killed them, right? But they're not even testing people, right? Not if they this should COVID-19 be reported on death certificate only with a confirmed test? The answer is it should be reported on the death certificate of all descendant or decedents at where the disease caused or is assumed to have caused or contributed to death. And it's just scary to me, you know. It's more scary than the numbers they're giving us because clearly they want us to panic. They want us to believe that this is way worse than it is. And I'm not saying people didn't die or are not dying, but I am saying that they're finding is that if you're not healthy, if your immune system is ran down already, if you have diabetes, if you almost died like 7 times in the last 3 years and you're on death's door, you're probably going to die if you get it. And you're definitely going to die if you're in the city or the states that are preventing the malaria drug, hydroxychloroquine, that's been proven to work. You know, there's just so much weirdness around all of this. And the end result seems to be we're being daily told more and more things that are getting taken away from us. And I think this is the answer right here. And I said this before. And this goes to this right here, the First Amendment. We have the right to assemble peacefully. We do. We have the right. And people need to stand up and do it because that is the only way that our pushing back is going to be the only way that any of this stops. Because the amount of tyranny that a person will get is the amount of tyranny they are willing to put up with. And we're giving away our rights for safety, and we're not even going to have either. You know, that's the sad part is the government oversteps their boundaries and they start telling you you need to wear a mask or you're going to be thrown in jail as they let criminals out. You know, we're going to get what we deserve really for just being spineless and going along with this. And I've stated before and I'll state it again. A couple months ago, I would have felt a little bit differently. You know, I still had my suspicions, but after seeing all the media lie, and this is the same media, you know, and let's go left and right, man. You know, the mainstream media on the left, after Russia, after the Mueller probe, after bombshell after bombshell after bombshell of things that were lies that came out to be nothing. Now we're supposed to believe these same media that are doing the exact same thing with this COVID. And I don't buy it. And you shouldn't either. And I'll leave it on that. Either we stand up now or we lose our rights. And as Christians, this is the beginning. So get right with Jesus Christ. He's the way, the only way. And we need to take this seriously. Get right with him, and none of this matters, right? Anyway, just wanted to share these couple of articles, let people know what's going on. If you like the channel, subscribe. I haven't said that. I really need to say that more. I would like to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can actually have the algorithms push my videos. And I'm getting to about 661. I now know with one of my friends that just subscribed. So anyway, I will see you next time. Take it easy.